Hey, good evening everybody. Welcome back to Great Ace Attorney. We're about to continue our first trial. The first session's already been super engaging. I'm looking forward to seeing what is going to come in this second half. Our mysterious lady friend's gonna take the stand, and yeah, we'll see what's about to show up. Here we go. 22nd November, 11:38 a.m. Supreme Court Adjudicature, Defendant Sent Chamber, number 5. Excellent work, Renosuke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you'd started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Ha 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 ha. Oh. He laughs like, He laughs like Wright, yeah. That's Wright, yeah, that's the way Wright laughs in the new trilogy. That's funny. Yeah, he's got a lot of traits from different characters. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your Phantom Lady at last. Mrs. Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I am sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor, and just after I bent down and picked it up, I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Wait, this is the old gentleman. Ah, it is. Professor Mikotoba. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seemed you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system, even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life. I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma! Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMing, and it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement on police burial went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight, right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Defendant Naruhodo, court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow. Before those old fossils know what's hit them. Kazuma. What? Thank you. Really. What for? Well, if you hadn't said that you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I've already been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer, and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. Yeah, he laughs like right. Interesting. Alright, back in the courtroom. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Aoichi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations with forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders? Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke. What do you mean? A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Shut up! Shut up, you jumped-up rookie boy! You and your friend know nothing. Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student. And one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Oh. Well said, Rinosuke, despite the wide-eyed look of terror. You little brats! Thank you, Council. This court is in the pinnacle of our nation's justice system, and exists solely for the pursuit of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett. Yes. Your Excellency! And then he does another... Dogeza. Yeah, he dogeza'd again. That is the term, right? Yep, it is. That is a crazy hat. Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land. He's already sucking up. He's already sucking up to the foreign powers. Tea! Someone bring English tea! In England, no discussions takes place without tea. I see they wasted no time on that joke. Immediately. Is that true? No idea. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at La Carnival, but my true... Yes, we know all about you already. Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Oh yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yeah, your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. This lady is wearing a whole ass bird on her head. And nobody is questioning it. Sorry, Rinosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty. So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. It's wearing a whole swan on her head and it's got a whole swan on her back too. I don't know, tail feathers? Damn it! She's English. We don't know what she's saying. Okay? Now I'm curious. Was the original joke that she spoke in English at this point? You know, like a text actually rendered in English, and everyone else has been speaking Japanese, so nobody knows what she's saying. Like, is that the original joke? And then they turned it into cursive here, so can't read it. Now I'm curious. But I could see it being like originally in English, like that's the joke. I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but... What? ¿Qué pasa? No hablo español. The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student currently enrolled in Yume University's medical faculty. Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. Okay, she was speaking English in the original then, I'm assuming. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song. As far as I can tell. The detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. Haha, you're obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. The English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Okay, yeah, so it was in English. Is this how they're handling all the... Wow, that's actually kind of a clever way to do it. So, because, you know, this is a game that takes place in Japan, but the localization is in English. So how do they separate, like, English from translated English, and they just use doctor's handwriting? So, I guess that's the joke. But I wonder, like, yeah, if you played the original in Japanese and you knew English, could you read what they actually said in English? Because this one is clearly just, like, it's Dr. Scribble, you know, there is no actual... I don't think there's actual words in there. Either that or it's a really weird, like, proprietary font or something. But yeah. So this is gonna be another duo, it's gonna be another duo witness thing then, I guess, because we're gonna be translating through the detective. That's definitely something new. Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Rinosuke. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? She says, yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese. Wait, no wait, she's got a swan on her head. Honk 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 honk. She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting. When you're the one who engineered her to escape. I was just following special orders from the bureau. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime. Could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say? Yes, it would appear that the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Nani? Order? Order in the court. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement. Well, looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. I can't believe first we cross-examine a parrot and then now we cross-examine a swan. What is happening? I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only, a beefsteak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor and they got into a fierce argument. Then not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. Dahlia Hawthorne 2.0? Well, I don't know. Yes! Could be a starter villain. No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all. Objection! Quiet, you filthy wretch! Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard! And look at this snow-white angel! I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe. Open racism in the court. Well, it is the Meiji era, so I guess that's par for the course. Still making the same mistakes, Rinosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. There's a lesson you need to learn. But he's so annoying! Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the two witnesses who testified before and reported back to the bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. Bitch! She's carrying a whole ass bird on her head. You telling me there's no way to hide a small pistol somewhere up there? She's got a whole ass bird up there! Is no one questioning that? Did the bird get searched for hidden weapons? I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to. Well, there you go. Unless and until the precise location where the witnesses to have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is moot. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. In the swan. Or in my tail, I guess. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. Ugh, that's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove... It's a good thing you didn't say that out loud, Ryunosuke. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. If I didn't fire the gun I picked up, there must have been another gun there that day. You're right about that. Which means, this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. Ah, she did it. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. She gave a smug smile on the witness stand because they all do that. All the culprits act smug at some point or other. Guilty! Just look at the witness's face! Remember the first game where that was actually viable testimony or cross-examination point? Look at the witness's face! You'd think that would be more common, but they stopped doing that after a while. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Cross-examination. Alright. Stop pressing him.
Yes!
Hi! After 2 PM, in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, isn't it?
Objection!
You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are en vogue, isn't that right? No. No. A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working at the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why he was so late. Yes, that all makes perfect sense. Such wonderful logic! What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is! So you both arrived at a restaurant. What happened next? Yep, it's basically structured like a boss battle.
Yes!
He was unable to eat, you say. And that was because he just had a tooth removed at a hotter clinic, correct? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering? Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left. Dear me, what a harrowing experience. To have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight. So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all. That's right, other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. so it appeared that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Rinosuke, about the witness's last statement? It's meaningful. Because we only see one glass. Unless... yeah, there's only one glass, which is weird. But why would you lie about that? That's the question. That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case. Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing, I don't know what it is, but please kindly add it to the statement so that I can press it for more info. I believe they call this bluffing. The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness' last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Well sidestepped, counsel. Very well, Miss Brett. Kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly, she said. Why are you hiding your eyes? That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Rinosuke. I ordered a beefsteak for myself, and the professor and I sit cheers over a glass of carbonated water.
Yes!
I'm gonna press auto statements first. I can already present on this, but yeah, let's just see what they all say. So both you and the professor drank this carbonated water, did you? Yes. Being the waiter, I poured the 2 glasses myself. I clearly remember doing so. Okay, so there definitely was two glasses at some point. Because Hosonaga wouldn't have lied about that, I don't think. Except you're actually a detective. And the beefsteak, that was for you, Miss Brett. The lady says she heard it was not customary to eat beef here until Japan opened its doors to the world. Yes, that's true. What a frightful place, is the lady's opinion. And I've heard it's not customary to eat sashimi in Great Britain. Now that's frightful. Every country has its own cuisine. As long as people have food to eat, what does it matter what it is? True, come to think of it. The first time I tried carbonated water, it was much more of a shock than the first time I tried beef. But anyway, back to this witness's statement. Somehow, I feel like there's something out of place in what she's saying. This pose is a little funny, isn't it? Is this, Chad, is this pose a meme? Tell me it's a meme. The way that he just turned around and looked. That's like a visible confusion style meme. For sure. Yeah. Like, imagine him with the math symbols and like the question marks around his head, you know? That's exactly the type of pose that he would be in. We need to pounce on even the slightest thing now. Because you never know what might lead us to our goal. In this pose of disgusted eyes. Our goal of Gyakuten Saiban. Understood, Kazuma. I just realized like the Ace Attorney like title drop from the last session was probably just a title drop in the English version. Meanwhile, they've been dropping Gyakuten Saiban like I think twice now. That's probably the title drop for the Japanese version.
Yes!
I never got into an argument with the professor. All I did when I noticed him was go over to say hello. Please, don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing the retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. We must all speak English. I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever, or only in the presence of a beautiful woman, hmm? Well, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that will unravel her testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That part ties in with what you said, doesn't it? Yes, I still had some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when I finished my coffee and stood up to leave. Then not long afterwards, yep, right.
Yes!
Wait, he didn't do the wimpy slam now, he did the actual slam. Like I said, I did not shoot that gun. And like I said, there's no point repeating that assertion over and over. Well, I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side. Nevertheless, defendant, you can't deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand. Well, yes, that's true, but... No, we're back to wimpy. But all I did was pick up the gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yes, there was someone much closer to the victim than me at the time. The highly suspicious lady in the stand. That will do, you dirty rotten scoundrel! Dirty? Your baseless accusations could very well cause an international incident, boy! It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours. What nonsense! The lady is merely stating what she saw. And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned anyway. I'm never going to Britain. I'll never forgive the British.
Yes!
It's all very well saying that, but can you prove it? Absolutely. I verified it personally. You verified it? Yes, immediately after the incident, I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctively remember her saying, "I'm not." That's all you did? You just asked her? Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector. No. Why on earth not? The Honorable English Gentlewoman clearly stated that she did not possess a weapon. There was obviously no need for any further probing into the matter. Or... there was no permission given for any further probing into the matter, perhaps. Think what you will. But if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that a refined lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands that you support your assertion with facts. In other words, he wants evidence. Ugh. The lady wishes to point out that, of course, she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation, but she was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to leave. You know, she could have probably just said that the government the British embassy called her back, and she wouldn't have to put herself under suspicion like that. But I guess. Not to mention the fact that your office had told you to get the woman out of there. Not get her out of there, I just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime. Which is why she is only too happy to cooperate and testify here in court today, of course. Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up. You could at least have the courtesy to pay attention when I'm goading you. Funny, funny. So she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor at the end of which you shot him. Which is an out-and-out, totally unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. I'm just exactly the same as you are, except for the flapping red ribbons. Well, anyway, this is our only chance to expose the testimony as the fiction that it is. If we can't do that, the trial's over. Even you, with your thick skin, must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room. Only too well, I feel half dead already. And the fact that I can't see a single inconsistency in the testimony isn't making me feel any better either. The first thing to do is to press her on any of her statements that seem even slightly off to you. Do that, and an opening will present itself. I promise you. I need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind the mask. That's what I should be aiming for in this cross-examination. Alright, that's all the dialogue. Got all the information. There is only one glass of water on the table. What happened to the other glass? Don't tell me she drank out of the flower pot. Take that. Aye. Ah, that's it. Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, it's odd. Very odd. Dear me, what's odd is the defense's inability to express itself. Minosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. That cheers? Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. Ah. You're quite right, Counsel. There's only 1 glass pictured here.
Objection!
Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minutiae? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
Objection!
Minutiae, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed the glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me you can think of only 1? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Honk. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I've been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious. We're gonna see something funky once we see her actualize. Sorry. Honk. There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all. Oh, please. You must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's lunch companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in a state of disarray? That's absurd. Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young and beautiful woman of mischief? What? No, this can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. Honk. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So, the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass had absolutely no bearing on the case. This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end it comes to nothing. Not true. If she was carrying a handbag, she could have been carrying a gun in there. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it had some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's... the handbag! Concealed carry! Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Like a gun. Wait, I mean what? Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But, what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. What are you insinuating, you foul blackguard? It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting... Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. No! Order, order, order. What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor Aochi? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. You've given us no reason to have faith in the popo. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting. Simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photograph, the photographic print. This guy with his later information. This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. Oh wow, his damage animation. He actually reels back so hard he slams his head on the back wall. Order, order. Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit the print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. Alright, let's take a closer look at this thing. Alright, let's take a closer look. Hang on, we've got new evidence. What are we looking at? Alright, there's nothing in the bag, clearly. What's this? What is that? Well, I mean, I know it's a hand. It's a burn mark. Oh well. I'm sure the significance of that will come into play in just a second. I think you had it long enough to cross-examine the witness counsel. Despair. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion. That a pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Oh wow, Kazuma's also whispering. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean this is it? I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat while the strong eat. You were wasting your time. There is no way to defeat true justice. A fact that you can chew on to your heart's content, from the inside of your cell. This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma, his dream of going to study in Great Britain was slipped through his fingers. Kazuma. What? Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest. Which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. Objection! There is something something wrong with the photo. Yes, it's right about here. Or something like that, right? Oh wait, is this where he's going to do his first objection? It seems we will be able to report to the British government on time after all. That smug little Ryunosuke Naruhodo, having considered all the evidence placed before me, I hereby find you... Hi! Wait! Your Excellency! Ryunosuke? I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
Objection!
His amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom.
Yes!
Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. He's doing the thinking pose now. Yeah, he's doing right thinking poses now. Now, that means if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail I mean, then ruling on the case at this time will be out of the question.
Objection!
This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence. Time to bluff my ass off. You better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. Ha! My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Very well. I will grant the defense one final opportunity. What? But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. I've never seen a judge do that with the gavel before. Why is that so intimidating? The foreshortening makes his hands look huge. Why is he so... Wow. You in trouble now, boy. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at the photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail to which you have alluded. So it's obviously the mark, yes. And it matches the hot plate. Ergo, he didn't die in this position. The body was moved. He was shot from the... He was shot from the front. I mean, we've already established that he was shot from the front and not the back. But then, for his body to have fallen over enough to actually touch the hot plate with his hand, he would have had to be facing the table, not facing away from the table. So somebody moved the body. I think that's what we're going for.
Yes!
Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection!
Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist. Clearly that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag. Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor Aochi points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent in the precise details of this burn. Honk. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway. What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging, in the hope that I might uncover something unuseful. Yes, you're right. I am? If we can just link that burn to the case. If we can do that, we might be able to prise this shuttling door back open again. Shutting door. Shuttling door? Just give up, Counsel. You can't possibly hope to do that. Indeed. I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. But if we had evidence... Evidence that irrefutably linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it. I would, yes. To tell you the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face. Really? I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means. So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. Take that!
Yes!
Oh, okay, but... Hi! What's this, Counsel? Yet another print. Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in the photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Do hurry up, rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further really would be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind. Miss Brett? You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn? The hot plate. Wait, hang on. Now that I'm thinking about it. Hang on. Yeah, he wouldn't be seated there anyway, because that's where the lady sat. If that's where the food was placed. How does that work out? Well, I guess either way it proves that the body was moved because he's sitting in the woman's chair, not where he should be sitting. Yeah, I guess no matter how you slice it, this is clearly pointing to the body being moved. So that's perfect. The beefsteak. Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate. Ah, Your Excellency, are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. Ah! This emblem on the plate. And the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ah! Rinosuke, you genius! And he did a proper death slam again. You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant.
Objection!
But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well,
Objection!
Sadly, Prosecutor Aochi, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite the commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. I'm assuming that means like when he was shot, he slumped over and his hand touched it, because, you know, a fresh corpse can still get burned. But maybe it's something else, we'll see. But I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter!
Yes!
There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burned themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day or any before it. That's right. And the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without a question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Aoichi?
Well, yes, I suppose.
So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? Oh, I almost don't believe it. Rinosuke, do you think? Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but... What is he aiming at? He was definitely shot. He was definitely shot. That was his death. Did he autopsy his stomach contents? I don't think so. Are they saying he was choked? Like, was he asphyxiated and then shot? No, there wouldn't have been enough time. Like, yeah, he was still alive because Rinosuke went to talk to him. It's not like his corpse was there this whole time and the shot was afterwards. Okay, I'm sticking in my original conclusion that he was shot and he fell forward and the wrist touched it. I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. This is kind of exciting though. I genuinely don't know where we're going with this. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was already deceased. Yeah. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. It's clearly impossible. Apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead.
Already?
Dead? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. Oh. Wait, how long? Okay, I was under the impression that like it was literally like a minute or less between when Rinosuke went over to say hi to the professor and when he picked up the gun. So it was much longer then. He didn't have the food yet. He went over to say hi. Rinosuke went back to his table. He was drinking coffee, and then there was quite a bit of time passed, and then he was killed. I guess is what they're trying to say. That's madness. Order, please. Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot.
That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just not a ridiculous ploy by the rookie student. But clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
Okay, so it's not that he was shot and then his body fell over on the hot plate. So the autopsy is wrong?
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Aoichi. It's you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon? As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, his whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. Okay. So if we're not going with my theory, because this is what they're pivoting away from it, my theory was that he was shot and then he fell over on the hot plate, but this is not what they're going for, so... Given that he died in the space of time between then and later, and the gunshot was used as a cover-up, I'm going to say poison. Because why else would she keep the cup away? She probably emptied the cup because she put poison in the water, so she didn't want to drink it or something. Either that or like this, she swapped the glasses around and that glass has poison in it. There's probably trace poison left on that cup. This is like that time when the where the Russians assassinated a political defector with radioactive isotope or something. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Espionage? Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement.
But, Your Excellency!
The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. And she posed like Dahlia there for a second. There is like a very similar pose. Yeah, actually, yeah, I just noticed as well. The smile is also very Dahlia-esque, kinda. How's that smile?
Yeah, so...
Honk, honk, honk. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours.
Ah!
Ooh.
Miss Brett, you speak Japanese.
She speaks Japanglish.
Well,
Honk, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the honk honk, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. Oh, she's racist. Of course, she's racist. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all at your own level.
Oh, well... You are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you have so graciously afforded us.
Stop simping. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So, we're finally going to hear our own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Rinosuke. Alright. Should I keep up the running joke that I'm translating like the British English as goose honks? I feel like I want to make that a running gag. This is the final cross-examination. There it is. Different cross-examination music. Unfortunately, I have no idea why the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please, do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. Okay. So that's what we're implying. Toxicology isn't advanced enough yet to pick up on it. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Easy does it. I hope that is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Honk, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone.
Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today.
The Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible.
Amen. Honk.
Huh? Thanks? Was that a prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, Counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Slap the face. Let's do this! Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Okay, I called it a little early. He's not saying objection yet, but he's probably gonna say objection somewhere towards the end. I think I've got that on lock. He's gonna switch over from saying hi to his actual court callouts, and it's gonna be cool.
Yes!
But his hand was on the steering hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't have not noticed. Do you think so? Let me ask you something. Sorry? Ever since I arrived in this courtroom and even still now, the fly on those unsightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. You can't not have noticed, can you? Huh? What? Ugh! You hadn't realized. The dear lady is absolutely right! As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryunosuke. Why didn't you tell me? Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing? Oh yes, I think my tiny brain can.
Yes!
Well, I can't.
Anyway, honk.
Yeah, okay, I think I've settled into... We're just gonna read all British text with Donald Duck's voice, and then we're gonna honk at the end. That's the running joke now, established from the first case.
Yes!
That's just how... You're just gonna have to deal with it now, chat. As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right?
Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at that time, if you remember. Which explains why he ordered that drink, correct, waiter?
Exactly as you say, sir. Although...
Although?
Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table. I'm afraid I don't remember that.
Ah, I have enough English to understand that, at least for the benefit of others in the court, it means bless you.
I think it means the exact opposite.
Anyway,
Alright, yep.
Yes!
Why would you be privy to the post-mortem, though? Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma.
yes. Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And as there were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death, it can only have been the bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life.
But it doesn't make sense. The burn must have happened straight away when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, you wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. And if the victim burned his wrist on the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, then he must have already been dead at that point.
Objection!
And yet, the fact is, the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that, this is a complete waste of time.
I concur. Prosecutor Aochi is right. Ugh. Some other way a man's life can be taken out of the trace these to show.
Yes!
We're gonna have to show that, I guess. Without leaving a trace.
If someone is shot or strangled or stabbed or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body. Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonaga?
As I've said, I've always aimed for flawless investigation. There will be physical traces of all those causes of death, that's true. But maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it?
Oh no, perish the thought. Calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question. On my honor, I, Takatsuchi Aochi, would cut down any who dare cast such aspirations.
A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. We need some evidence to back us up here. Yes, evidence. But of course, this country's... Yeah, okay. It's the poison. Hang on. What do you think, Renosuke? I don't know. I think this could be hard work. She can speak Japanese brilliantly, but she doesn't seem to want to say very much. The more she says, the more she's likely to give away. This Englishwoman knows that only too well. She's quite formidable. Dr. Wilson's burn tells us something, I'm sure. I need to use this cross-examination to find out what. First things first, I'm going to press her on everything she said and try to make her blurt something out. Ah, there we go. Okay. You want us to press the last statement then. What is it, Cosmo? What are you thinking? Oh, don't worry. It's nothing. Did he pick up on it too? Possibly.
Yes!
Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at the crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so?
Quite right! Larkanevo was open for business as usual today, just days after the incident.
Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction,
Wait.
vital evidence may be lost. Oh. The inspector just remembered something. Oh shit! We washed all the glasses and the plates and stuff. It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. Trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand?
Haha! Killer blow! Lady is as formidable as she is beautiful.
Amazing. It's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Aochi is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. The inspector's just regretting everything now. Yep, okay. I'm gonna have to present something now. You can find a way to break the testimony across the examination review. Oh wait, no, this is different dialogue. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma. What, Rinosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. So this is why we have double witnesses, huh? Yeah, he triggered like... Yeah, he reacted. This is a new game mechanic. Alright. But the person standing next to her, Inspector Hosonaga. The detective. Yes, he seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. Oh, they did this in the crossover game? Alright. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing on the last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself. Let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press and bread on the last statement again. Alright.
Yes! Wait.
Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up to now, the detective has been in the stand of Miss Brett as an interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. You're right. Look at him, he's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man in his train of thought. Sorry? Pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Inosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. What marker? Fall for a break. At the moment, we'll focus on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. But by moving the marker left and right with, left and right, you can turn your attention to the other people in the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with aid. If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand, take a good look around. Alright then, so first I should move the marker across and focus on the detective. I mean, it's the first case, right? I think it's a pretty well-paced tutorial, and like, it's not all tutorial, we're actually getting some good plot, so you know. I'm down for it.
Wait.
I wonder if we can just do this at any time though, like not only on... That we can do this on any statement, because that's gonna be interesting if so.
Excuse me.
Sukashimasu! What the? What's the meaning of this? Actually, I wonder what the Japanese phrase for that one is. Sumimasen! It could be... I don't know. I can look it up later, I guess. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts, deeply. It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say? If there's something you'd like to say, please, share it with the court.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this? It's the delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault of a testimony, then the cross-examination should be over, immediately. Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yes, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes, if you don't mind, I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. You're telling me this guy is a phantom thief of evidence? Alright, interesting angle. Tuberculosis man. A crime scene thief? Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touch a nerve there. Take this, for example. Is that... He just got pissed, like, how dare you call me a scrub? This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water, I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming. I guarantee it. If I don't die of tuberculosis first. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. Can we look for traces of poison on it? Finding out, please. Look at the label. The label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. This must be very expensive water. Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking. Then go to France and ask. You could just say that you don't know. I guess carbonated water would be expensive. At the back of the label? What's the back of the label? So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. It looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely parched. I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going. Don't do it! You're gonna die! No, Rinosuke, you can't do that. Don't drink the evidence. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence. Oh no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me, Rinosuke. In more ways than one. You've almost followed in your descendants' footsteps. I wonder, could there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked out something out. An interesting possibility. Can we test for poison? Do we have the technology? Can you confirm that this is indeed the water from which you drank on from the day of the victim's death? Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. The inspector will kindly control his fervor. Ahem. So I'm pretty sure at this point, what they want us to do is, on this statement, show her a possibility that can kill someone without leaving a trace. In the Meiji era.
Yes!
What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Poison? On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order, order, order. And on that day, who was sitting at the same table with the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could possibly have done it. Giselle Brett, it was you!
Objection!
This is outrageous! To suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence! You little rookie imbecile, have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime.
What?
The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth. If I may,
I will silence you forever for this disgraceful attack on the...
Whoa, she's voiced. It is you who should be silent.
Of course. Dear lady!
Where did that come from? She just snapped. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. Now watch as I turn into an actual swan. I offer my most humble apologies. I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring? I describe your police force as inferior. But no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle I mean, Inspector. And whether it contained poison or not. Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. Clearly not flawless enough to get the right cause of death. Although I guess we can chalk that up to just medical science. Is that the newspaper article? What newspaper article? I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. Okay, apparently they can test for poison, they just can't do it in the autopsy. And what did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. It could be a foreign poison. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the Chief Coroner himself. No. No! Oh, the poison might be in the glass. I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours. I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, Counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. Chat, actually, Ryunosuke didn't fire the gun though, right? So that means that it still was a second gun involved somewhere to make the noise. So, I mean, and yeah, the body has a bullet hole in it, so somebody had to... Yeah, a second gun had to have been involved, regardless, because there's no way a bullet hole just magically appears in the corpse, so... She poisoned him and then she shot him, I think. It's possible. Unless we're going about this all wrong. Wait. Wait, I thought of something crazy. Wait, hang on. Ace Attorney likes doing this, right? They like turning the case around. Let me think. No, wait, no. I was thinking that I was pursuing a line of thinking that that she shot him, but he's she shot him in self-defense or something. I don't know. It was an assassination or something. But then I was thinking, wait, would that mean he put the poison in? I think I'm overthinking it. Yeah, that's probably a little bit too crazy, because he was already dead by the time the steak was delivered, so... It had to be in the water. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Brett. Oh no, honk. I'm just glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point? Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more. Well, if you excuse me now, I really must be leaving. And this is actually a really elaborate first case though, right? I don't think first case... I haven't seen any first case go on for this long. Oh. Deus Ex evidence? Yep. Please, wait! Isn't that... What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, judicial assistant to the defense. She was in the advertising, so she's the actual assistant from what I know. Mikotoba? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package, wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. Is it the cup? Oh wow, we're not done. To be continued. Wow, this first case is really long. Huh. We haven't seen the Koban yet. Good point. Oh, the newspaper article. Chat, don't spoil me. You're spoiling me on future evidence. Okay, there's a... I didn't expect... Wow, yeah, this first case is quite long, huh? Should we call it at that for now then? I don't... I'm guessing this means that the next section isn't going to be like a short half an hour affair. It's not gonna be like a short half an hour affair. It's gonna be another like hour or so. Will it? Just checking. Because I guess like the breaks with the points where the game gives us checkpoints usually feels like it's a good place to take a break. You know, it's like the end of the episode and next time on Great Ace Attorney. Second chapter has no trial. What? There's a lot of collections. What? There's no trial. Oh. Well, actually, I think we will call it at that for now. Yeah, as far as Great Ace Attorney goes, it definitely feels like stopping at the checkpoints that the game gives us is probably a good place. That it helps us space out the sessions, so I think we'll follow that for the most part. It has been almost an hour and a half after all, and I'm happy. I'm fine with an episode taking that long. It'll help us pace up the game a little bit, you know. So we'll treat it like it's a big anime season, you know. We'll stop at each episode and stuff. Alrighty, we'll be back soon for the next episode of Dai Gyakuten Saiban. Stay tuned. We'll be back for more mystery objections. Mystery objections? Mysteries and objections. Yeah. Alright. Have a good one.